So a missing requirement for item one is that you need to provide a definition for the word assertive. I'm going to use the word friendly to tell you what is required of your definition and to give you tips and warnings. And your grade will be affected by your ability to make sure that you have shown attention to this video. This applies to item one of the foundational writing assignment. And it applies to those taking a definite position, but it also applies to those who are not yet able to take a definite position. So this is for everyone and anyone, regardless of your response or kind of response or argument that you provide for item one. So as you know, the conclusion part of, the context of this item one is whether is about Derek Chauvin's use of restraint on George Floyd. And my question was whether or not you thought Derek Chauvin was overly assertive. Well, given that the question is about, him being overly assertive, obviously assertive is a fundamental and powerful concept in your conclusion if you say he was or was not, because you take a definite stance. But it also is still a fundamental and powerful concept in your thinking if you cannot take a definite position. For reasons that will be revealed later in the semester, we're going to need to each offer a definition for assertive, and there's very strict requirements I have that will meet not only the needs of future learning and graded assignments, but also will reflect a philosophical concern for definitions. So, like I said, I'm going to use the word friendly, but you're to do what I do for friendly with the word assertive. So I do want you to cite a definition from a dictionary. So what I do is I just go into Google and then I type in the word I want to define. You will get, if you use Google, you tend to get a definition right at the top, but then you'll see other definitions here as well. So I'm looking at this definition of or relating to or benefiting a friend. Okay, so this right here sheds no light, zero light on what it means to be friendly. Why is that? Because it's using a version of the word friend to define the very word itself, friendly. If I don't know what a friend is, then this part of the definition does nothing to shed light on friendly. So this could not be used. However, they do give some examples such as showing kindly interest and goodwill. But those are examples. You can definitely include examples from a definition, but this itself is not a definition. A definition will state the properties, characteristics, or features that something must meet in order to count as a correct example of a concept. This gives examples. It does not give necessary requirements. Now notice what this says, not hostile, a friendly merger, awful. So this is a horrible. This would be a horrible definition to use. When you're looking for a definition, you're looking for a definition that does not include any version of the word that you're trying to define. So you might have to research assertive quite a bit to find your definition. So I'm going to do friendly. Do not use synonyms. I'm not asking for synonyms. Make sure that you're looking at a dictionary. So friendly, meaning. So you might have to do assertion, meaning. Look at how much better that is. So do assertive, meaning. Do not do meaning. Do not do overly assertive. You will be off track if you do that, and you will not produce the kind of definition and hence answer that I'm looking for and that we need for later in the semester. So now look at this. Look at this definition for friendly. It says kind and pleasant. Notice that no version of the word friend is included in this definition. All right. So now that's one requirement. You have to provide a definition. It can't just be examples for a definition, as was the first case with the first definition we found. And your definition cannot have any version of the word you're trying to define. So when you give me your cited definition for assertive, there should be no version of the word assertive in the definition itself. Notice that this says, I don't know if this one isn't such a great definition. Denoting something that is adapted for or is not harmful to a specific thing. When you're finding a definition, find a definition that tells you what something is. Don't use a definition that tells you what something is not. So the second half of the definition tells you what the opposite of friendly is. It tells you what it's not. You don't want to use a definition like that, okay? Also, second criterion. when you are looking at definitions, don't just pick the first one you find. Keep in mind the context of why you're looking for that word assertive. You're looking for a definition that can really help you make your argument, that can really be used to support your conclusion. So one thing you would be very wise to write down and refer to later for a future assignment, maybe on this page 2 of the foundational writing assignment, is that the part where you're offering the definition for assertive is a reason being given in support of your conclusion. Okay, so when you define your terms, those are themselves reasons for supporting a conclusion. Why? Because your conclusion is going to have something to do with Chauvin being assertive or not overly assertive. So we need to know what it means to be assertive in the first place. So we need to offer that as a reason. We need to say, well, this is the definition for assertive. Even if you're not sure, even if it's not rational for you to adopt a position, you're still using or have to show what definition of assertive you're using in arguing for both sides, or what definition of assertive you're using in saying you don't have enough information to draw a definite conclusion. So as such, make sure you look through several definitions. This one is from Google. So if you use Google, then you're going to have to tell me that you got it from Google Dictionary. But notice there's Webster.com, Cambridge, Dictionary.com. You can use any of those. Do not use Urban Dictionary. So the 3 official dictionaries that you can use are Dictionary.com, Cambridge, Merriam-Webster, and then this Google one. You will have to cite your definition, and you'll have to present the definition in a complete sentence. So let me show you what I mean by that, because a lot of people don't know how to do that, or it's presented all choppy, and the presentation or the inclusion of a definition in your argument for item 1 must fluidly embed the definition. What is more is you cannot, let me just turn this around. So what is more is I don't want you to just present the definition at the top and then your paragraph. No, because the definition has to be part of your reasoning, it needs to come after your conclusion, whatever it is. If you can't make up your mind for a definite position, then I would put your definition for assertive immediately after the conclusion you copy for not being able to make up your mind. So it would be your second statement. If you can take a definite position, still, you should put your definition, present it in a sentence, present it immediately after your conclusion. That would be the most powerful thing to do, and trust me, it's going to make future assignments easier if you put your definition there. Now, let's go ahead and return to how I expect you to place your definition within your paragraph. So here you have a statement with your conclusion. Okay, so you make a claim, and then your second statement is going to have your definition. You could say friendly. Of course, you're going to say assertive. Okay, but in my definition, yes, you're going to say assertive. You could say, you can do something like this. According to, and then you're going to tell me the name of dictionary you used. So here's where you could write something like dictionary.com, the Google Dictionary, Merriam-Webster Dictionary. Do not give me the URL here. So according to whatever dictionary, blah, assertive, you're going to put assertive in quotation marks. I think I already lectured on what it means to put a word in quotation marks. So I'm not going to repeat that information here, but you're going to have to put the word that you're defining in quotation marks. So according to whatever dictionary you've used, assertive means, and then you need to cite verbatim from the dictionary that you're using. And so then we're going to use quotation marks, and then here is where you type up, so you have the typed up definition you found that meets my requirements. Okay, period. Trust me, guys, just do it just like I have shown you. Of course, replacing this with the actual name of the dictionary you used. You're not going to have to replace this. That's what I want you to do. Means. You could also say is defined as. You could say such and such dictionary. You can change the wording, the order. You could say according to blank blank. You could say dictionary.com defines assertiveness in quotation marks as, comma, or you could put a colon mark here, so you can put a comma or a colon mark, but make sure you put the definition that you cite in quotation marks. Otherwise, you could lose 5 to 10 to all of your points for this assignment because you will have plagiarized intentionally or not. Do not paraphrase a definition. I don't want your own opinion or made up definition. I want a definition from a source. Of course, in doing your research, you can find the definition that resonates with you the most, that best supports your argument. And then, of course, here is where you'll have another statement providing a reason for your conclusion, and so on. Okay, but I'm basically giving you kind of like a little template here. That is all I have for you. And again, this applies to everyone dealing with any option for responding to the item 1 prompt and questions.